Percents and proportions is our topic for today. Our essential question, how can I solve percent problems using proportions? Percent, if you remember, it's a ratio that means out of 100. So it has a denominator of 100. Number on the top, denominator of 100. So we have a formula to calculate percentage problems. Proportion means two equal fractions. So we have a fraction on the left, fraction on the right that are equal to each other. That's what a proportion means. But we're going to be working with a percent. So if you know the percent, it's going to go right there, over 100 always, because that's what percent means, out of 100. Equals, and then you're going to see two words, is and of. So if you see the word is next to the number, you put the number there. If you see of, you put the number there. So, let's do some practice. Put this here just to remind us, percent out of 100 equals is over of. So if we read 60 is what percent of 75? So 60 is, so where is in our proportion, which is on the top, we put 60. What percent? That means we don't know the percent. That means we need to figure out what the percent is. So over here, we don't know that percent, but we do know it will be out of 100. Of 75. So since there's an of next to it, it goes in the of spot. So 75 would go there. Now if you recall yourself all the way back to solving proportions, we have the cross products property, which means if we multiply the two diagonals, we can figure out the percent. So 100 times 60, this diagonal right here is 6,000 equals this diagonal right here, 75 times the percent. You can also put an x there if you want, just a variable, so 75x. Now if you remember, this gives us a little equation that we need to solve. So this is multiplication. Undo that with division. So now all we need to do is 6,000 divided by 75. And of course, you can feel free to use your calculator if you'd like. And when we do 6,000 divided by 75, we get 80. So x equals 80, which means our answer is 80%, because that's what we were looking for, the percent. So make sure you add that percent sign. So 60 is 80% of 75. So if we wanted just 80% out of 75, we would get 60. All right, next problem. 4%. So we know the percent. So right here we put percent, we have 4%. That's 4 out of 100. Equals. Of what number? 4% of what number? Of. That means we don't know the of piece. This bottom part, the denominator on the right, we don't know. So I'm going to put an x there. Is 20. That means where we see is, we're going to put 20. So for the is spot, we put 20. Cross multiply to get our answer. 4 times x is 4x. 20 times 100 is 2,000. Divide both sides by 4 to get x by itself. That means x equals 500. So 4% of 500 is 20. All right, and then just a word problem to practice. Manuel found a wrecked Trans Am, which is a car, that he could fix. He bought the car for 65% of the original price of $7,200. What did he pay for the car? Round to the nearest dollar. All right, that's one time through. Now that we've read it, we have an idea. Manuel bought a car. We want to know how much he paid for it. Let's circle some things. So Manuel found a wrecked Trans Am that he could fix. That's just setup. That's just information. We need it for background information, but not for the mathematical purpose. He bought the car, though, for 65%. That's an important number. So here in this percent column, I'm going to put 65. And that reminds me that 65 was the percent. of the original price. But you see that word of? That means of the original price of $7,200. So where we see of, that's that whole price. That's going to go right there. What did he pay for the car? That's a part of the whole. He didn't pay the whole price of the car. He didn't pay the original price. He paid 65% of the original price. So we need to figure out what price he did pay. Again, we're setting up a proportion. So we have the percent, which is 65 out of 100, equals is the part over of the whole. Now we have a proportion that we can solve so we can figure out how much he paid for the car. Multiply your cross products, so we get 100 times x is 100x. 65 times 7,200. Again, feel free to use your calculator because those are some pretty big numbers. And we get 468,000 and then we just need to divide by 100 to get x by itself. So if we do 468,000 divided by 100, we get x equals 4,680. So Manuel paid $4,680 for his car. That is all the notes that I have for you. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel.